Welcome to the PT Marketing Power Hour, highlighting successful marketing strategies from North America's fastest growing clinics so you can learn from their wins and power your practice growth. We have another great episode today, so don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, here's your host, physical therapist, marketing expert, and CEO of Practice Promotions, Neil Trickett.
Here's what we're going to work on today. I'm going to show you some tips on how to improve conversions on your website. And then we're going to dig into a couple case samples here, some live website analysis that we'll do. And then we'll look at some performance reports on these sites too. These are attendees from today who wanted to get their website checked out. So thank you to them for doing that and being vulnerable. I appreciate it. We're going to dive in and we'll see what's going well on the website, what could be improved. And then you can check your own website and see how that's working out for you. All right, so this section here on the website, we're really focusing around this middle part of the funnel. How can we get more new patients converting, get more bang for our buck, right? As I mentioned before, those, most websites are performing under 3%. And so I'd be really interested to kind of look back through your website. How many calls are you getting from that? How many forms are you getting filled out from that? And then you can have an idea, remember, in terms of like how many people are visiting, get that from your Google Analytics and divide that by the number of actual new patients coming through it. If you don't know that, then that's something to work on, right? Get some more metrics, some more conversion information. So again, why is this so important? Because you're spending money on digital advertising. You're maybe doing Facebook ads, you're doing Google ads. You're putting all this effort out to do events in the community, right? So there's a lot of advertising dollars being spent here, marketing dollars, salaries, and we want to make sure that when people come and interact with our website, that they're going to turn into a new patient. And so again, let's look here at why that matters. So if you get 1,000 people visiting your website a month and 1% of them turn into new patients, that's 10 new patients. If we have 3%, that's 30 new patients. At 5%, that's 50 new patients. And at 7%, that's 70 new patients a month just from our website without changing how many people came there. They just really liked what you have to offer and they're taking more action. So that's what we're going to work on here today. Now, I want you to think about this. Your website is the face of your business online. It is your online storefront. So it's not something that you just think about, oh, I have a nice website, right? It really has to do its job of being your online storefront, right? And represent who you really are and what you're going to do to solve people's problems. And I want you to realize that people will verify your business online before they ever pick up the phone. So they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to look at your reviews. They're going to check out what your website's like. They're going to go to your About Us page. They're going to check out does it look professional? Do these look like doctors? That's what they're checking out before they ever pick up the phone or fill out a form on your website. So the more you can give them that kind of information, the resources, show that you're the trusted experts to turn to, the more people are going to take action. So here's what your website should do. First off, it should be discoverable. And that's where we talked about SEO, right? And also the SEM. That's where you can get your website out in front of more and more people in your community. Then as they come and interact with your website, it has a job where it has to get them to stick, right? They have to be able to connect with you. You have to attract them and how it looks and start to compel their interest. And then that gets them moving forward into the next step, which is you want them to take action. It has to be able to convert them into a new patient reaching out, a new lead, right? And then as Rick said, then if they're calling, your front desk has to work their magic and being a good sales person and obviously close them on coming in for their evaluation. So how can we get our website to work better for us? First, we got to measure the behaviors of people as they come and visit your website. And so for SEO, we're going to look at how well your keywords, say like physical therapy, how well is that ranking in Google, right? And that can give us some indications there of how we can rank better in Google. Then As people come and visit the website, we want to look at their behaviors on the page. So here we can look at the time that they're spending on the page, what's called the bounce rate. We'll look at that here in a second, and the number of pages that they're viewing. This can all be seen through the Google Analytics app there. So really good information, and can give you some insights into, I have a beautiful website, but people don't stay on it, right? That's a problem. Then you have to be able to convert them. So how do we measure this? Well, how many people are filling out a request appointment form on your website? If we have a live chat feature on there, how many leads are we capturing through our chat feature? And then how many phone calls are coming from the website? If you have call tracking on there, that's going to help you with that. So the more of this data that you can grasp, right, the more you can see how your website is performing and where there's opportunities for improvement. All right, so one of the first rules here with your website is, if you go there, does it make you stick, right? And sometimes it's great to look back through your website in the eyes of a patient, right? And if you didn't know anything about you and you go to your website, does it excite me right away and I'm want to learn more, right? So that's really the 5-second rule. And let's face it, we've all been to websites where we go there and it's like, this doesn't look good, I'm out of here, right? So really have that 5-second rule. You have to be clear in terms of what you're going to be able to offer that person. You have to have the visual wow factor, right? So just doing a website on Wix or something like that, you're not going to have the wow factor that you need, right? What's going to really represent your practice and why you're better than other solutions out there. And then it has to be easy to get around, right? You have to be able to get people to the information that they want quickly, right? And then they're going to digest that information, and it's going to build their affinity for you, and obviously then get them to take action. So let's look here at measuring behaviors, right? So I was talking before about bounce rate. So bounce rate basically means someone came to your website, came to the homepage, for example, and then they leave. That's all it is, right? Ideally, we want them to come to our website homepage, and then they go, oh, let me learn more about who these people are. They're going to click on the About Us button, or they're going to go click on something related to their condition on a back pain page or something like that. They start to poke around your website and they're sticking on it, right? And that's what Google likes to see. Google does not like to see people come to the website and leave very quickly, right? I'm going to give you a high bounce rate. High bounce rate means Google doesn't like you, and it's going to decrease your rankings and get you in front of less people. Now, a bounce rate here of 50 to 60% is actually pretty good, right? Because we're going to have people come and go from the website. It's just normal. But 50 to 60% is pretty good. If it gets over 65%, then we need to work on the way that the experience is on the website. And it could be simply headlines on there, or maybe switching out some pictures, or it might be just kind of adjusting the flow of the website and how that's going to work. All right, other things that we want to look for here through our Google Analytics in terms of the website is the length of interest. So we're looking at basically the average time that someone spends on the page, right? And that tells us there, if we're above like, minute 20, minute 30, that's doing pretty good, right? And obviously the longer that is, the better. It just means people are staying around and reading your stuff, right? Now, if it gets below like a minute, then that's not that good. So we want to kind of raise that up there. And then we're also looking at average pages per session. This just gives us an idea on average of all the people that come to your website, how many pages did they click through? So here again, the closer that we are to about 2 pages per session, pretty good. All right. So, but if we're like 1 page, that's not good. All right. So the lower that number, the worse it is. And so bottom line here is eyeball time. That's what we want from the people visiting our website. Is we want them to stick around and check out what we can help them with. All right, so I'll just show you a few things here. So this is actually something new that we've been using. Our whole graphic design team and web development team is now using this. And it's actually visual eye tracking software. And so we actually designed by how people's visual tracking patterns will be. You can make something look pretty, but we want people to move in a specific way, right? And so that's going to help them take more action. And when you have something that's actually designed in this way, it actually feels really comfortable to someone go to the website. Have you ever been on a website or read something and it's really busy, right? And you kind of feel uncomfortable about reading that. That's the thing. It's not, you don't have very good eye tracking. You're all over the place. But if it's designed in a way where you have more of a sequence in the way that you see it, it's going to create a much more comfortable experience for someone visiting your website or reading your material. So this is what we do now is through all of our websites and through all of our direct mail print marketing, we actually use visual software now to create this flow of how people will look. Another tool that you can be using on your website here is what's called heat maps. And this is something we do at Practice Promotions with all our clients' websites. Is it actually tracks how people are interacting and behaving with the website. So this map here actually shows how people are scrolling on the page. And the whiter it is, the hotter it is, right? So, usually at the top is where people first land. So that's going to be the hottest. But then you can see if it goes blue, it goes ice cold, like right away. That means people are not scrolling down the page. We want them to scroll down the page. We want them to take their time and see what we have to help them with. So heat maps are another tool to help see how well we can improve your conversions on your website. So again, this is something that we do at Practice Promotions. And if you're not, then you can be using that. There are different tools out there to help you with heat map tracking. All right, so let's look at how you can improve your website conversions. One of the key things here is to really have the call to action at the top right, and especially with a contrast color. This is sort of your action area of your website. And so all your rest of your information is really starting to engage with the patient there as they're coming through your website. But you want to have that call to action at the top right. And ideally, the top menu should actually flow down with the person as they scroll down the page. Also, we want to have multiple spots to book appointments or request appointments, especially on the homepage, but also throughout the website there on the internal pages. And the whole point here is really want to showcase health and getting better and opportunity and the outcome that someone's going to have by coming to you. Again, making it patient-centric, not practice-centric. So another way here to improve conversions on your website is, are you using testimonials throughout your website, right? So people, again, you're trying to provide social proof to them. So it's one thing to have obviously Google reviews, Facebook reviews, Yelp reviews out there. That really helps a lot. But as they start to interact with your website, they won't necessarily always go back to look on those other platforms and see what the reviews are. If they are weaved within the website itself, it really helps project confidence for that new patient and getting them to take that next action. One thing here is we were talking about before how important it is to have good visuals in your practice. And so you should be having, good photography, good videography in your practice. It's always a good practice to have a professional photographer come in, because you want to use these type of visuals in your website, in your marketing, putting videos on YouTube, in your social media, right? So it's difficult if you're not getting those pictures within the clinic. And so, it's not up to you as a practice owner. That's where you need to have a marketing person in the office, and one of their jobs should be getting photos, right? And getting testimonials and connecting with patients. So I would say that that's really important there, is to make this blend in your website of stock photography and real photography, right? All right. Then we want to have good calls to action. So we want to get them booking. So it's great to have forms embedded within your website. Also on the internal pages, say like if you have a back pain page, are you having opportunities in here where you're always asking for them to take that next step, right? So really important there to get them booking with that. So definitely forms on the home page, definitely site-wide with that. And it will say in here too, I didn't put this yet, but it is good to have some other means, like ebooks is a great tool for people who are not quite ready to take that next step of starting to contact you, but they want some more information. So having an option for an ebook on your website is helpful. That can get into an email campaign and keep pushing them back to the website to call in or take that action. All right, and then we definitely want to have calls to action here. One basic behavior for people is that About half of the people that are visiting your website are going to be on a mobile device, right? They're going to be on their phone or tablet. Um, and what we tend to see is that by search, people might actually do a little bit more on their phone or tablet. But when they do their due diligence, when they're checking you out, if you're going to be the right fit for them, they're going to do it more on a laptop or desktop. That's just basic kind of behaviors. But on those mobiles, what we want to do from that is push phone calls. That is really kind of the basic behavior from viewing on the phone. It's harder to fill out a form on a phone than it is on a laptop or desktop. So more people will call directly from mobile. So the way that your website is set up on a mobile, it should really kind of push more people towards phone calls. And then call tracking with that can really help you also differentiate who's a current patient coming in, who's an actual new patient coming in, who's a returning past patient coming in that was reactivated, or a vendor, and another one could be like a vendor or something like that. So that way you can get more metrics and more data of like who's actually a new patient or returning patient from your calls. All right, so that's some tips there on how you can improve conversions on your website. And now we're going to dig into some real website review requests from our attendees here today. So again, I thank them for bringing this up here. And what we've done is we're going to review real time through the website. And we won't get really deep into anything here today because we just don't have the time for it. But then we'll get into a little bit of the snapshot report. I'll show you how that can help also show areas to work on here. All right, so when we're looking at this together, what I want you to think about, does it grab my attention? Is it patient-centric or practice-centric? Does it build my interest? Are there clear calls to action on this? And are there multiple ways to get started in engaging with this clinic? Okay, all right, so let's look at this together. All right, so first one here is Renew Physical Therapy. All right, so here we are on Renew's website. So one thing right away that I love is that we have real pictures. It's probably done by a professional photographer in here, and even some, phone, maybe some phone pictures. But right away you're starting to create that relevance with the practice, right? So good job there. One of the things right away, though, that we shouldn't have is sign up for our monthly newsletter. Boom, right? You're taking my attention away from what I really want you to do, is just to request an appointment. And this request an appointment online should be in the top right. Visually, that's where most people track to. So that could be something that's easily fixed, put up over here, right? As we get down here, I would adjust the headline a little bit. So again, we're making it practice centric, maybe like experience the renewed difference. We should be talking more like how are we going to get that person feeling better or out of pain. Okay, as we get down here, good thing is we got some scrolling happening down with us, so that's really good. I like that we incorporated the name of the clinic in kind of this outcome here. One thing we have that's a little challenging would be these quick links. That could be set up in a different way, maybe some buttons, maybe not asking people to do too many options there. That can be a little confusing. And then we have a bit of the blog information at the bottom here. And then since this is a multi-location practice, I mean, we've got probably, I don't know, at least 10 to 12 clinic locations here. It would be beneficial to have a map type location with the addresses underneath it. But especially for larger enterprise type clinics like that, you want to have more map kind of visual on that homepage. So it's easy for someone to quickly reference and say, well, hey, I'm over in this area here. These guys have some clinics that are near me, right? So that's one thing I would definitely suggest there for that. Now, one of the things that we're lacking a little bit here, which could really help this website rank a lot better and pull a lot more people to it, is this is the services page, right? So we get to the services pages here, but we're not really speaking so much to, again, back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain. We got a few things here for vestibular, but we don't have any real deeper pages for that. So again, we're missing a lot of opportunities to get this website to rank for those other types of conditions. So again, it could be really simple here in that we're just adding additional pages with more content in regards to those conditions. So there could be more and more information about that. Okay, like the About Us page here again, this is a good example of a clinic really using a lot of internal pictures. And I think that's really beneficial, gives people a sense of, what to expect when they come to the clinic. What I am finding a little challenging here to get to right away, and so this could be a problem, is more about the therapist, right? And if I was a patient, usually the second most visited page is the About Us page, like the actual clinicians. So, all right, so then I can get into that when I get into the individual team pages. I can see the people here, but it took a little digging to get into that. But again, it's good that we're showing the clinicians that are at that location there. One thing here that can really, again, help this is from a local perspective, especially when you're a multi-location clinic, these individual location pages are going to be what ranks better than the actual homepage, right? So in this situation, this clinic is Algres, I can't even pronounce that, Algres. So in that particular town, this is probably what's going to show up first. This is what should be linked in the Google My Business also, is the actual individual location page. I would just have much more content on this particular page, word-wise, which is going to help them rank locally better there. All right, so that's a little digging in there of, the website. And then let's look at here. This is the snapshot report. Again, this is when you sign up for the PT marketing evaluation. We'll do this for you and share it with you. And so we have a score here. We've got a B for the website, C for SEO, B for reviews, D for listings, D for social, and F for advertising. So, so what we're seeing here is from the website, pretty good speed for mobile and desktop. So that's really important there. However, on the large pictures or things that take a little bit longer to load on the website, the mobile is definitely slower here, and that could be impacting, again, rankings because it's not fast enough. So it could be a little bit of work done on mobile, and that's kind of a coding thing on the back end. From an SEO perspective here, they're definitely doing well with ranking on some of the local searches there. And I think too, a big part of that has come from the reviews. They're very good at getting reviews. You can see how important it is to consistently work on those reviews. And of course, this is a larger multi-location clinic, so I would expect them to have much more reviews. But again, that can really help them go even further. But so they might be ranking very well for, say, physical therapy, but they could be doing even more for, let's say, back pain, neck pain, those kind of things. I would be interested to see what those searches, really look like on those. Okay, and then getting into sort of the listings here. We do have listings on some of the main sites here, such as Facebook and Bing Maps and Yelp, but there's a lot that they should be on that they're not. So that's opportunities, again, that could really help them just have more of their business information out on the internet in front of people. And picked up on possible errors. This is what I'm talking about. It's very common on these where it might have the phone number wrong, right? Or it might be it's missing a suite number or something like that. So it's really important to have those updated. Here's kind of an issue here that, again, affects a lot of the business information on these hundreds or thousands of different directories. And these are the three main data providers out there. There's Data Axle, Newstar, and Foursquare. And so basically we have software that really helps just get you on these particular main data providers. And this is where things like your car's navigation system or Yellow Pages might actually be pulling from these main data providers. So you want to have your business information clear on these and have it easily found, because that's going to trickle out to hundreds of other websites online. And it just, again, makes you much more discoverable from that. All right, and then I don't think they're doing any advertising here. So again, here's an opportunity to have much broader reach across all of these clinic locations by doing Google advertising. So something for them to definitely work on improving there. All right, so let's jump on to our next review here.
Quick question: are the data providers the same in Canada, or is that different?
I believe so. Yeah, those are kind of like the biggies, even internationally. Yeah. All right, so let's look at this one here. This is Balance Within Integrative Physical Therapy. So let's go to their website and check it out. All right. So right away, when I come here, I'm a little overwhelmed. There's a lot of text, right? So you're asking me to read this COVID update. There's all these menu options here, and then there's a very long headline. And this is sort of a Dan Kennedy style writing here, which is great. I think it's really appropriate for, let's say, emails and direct mail, sales letters, things like that work really well with that kind of style writing. Websites is a different animal, right? So you want to have actually very short headlines to the point that grab someone's attention, and then you can have a little bit longer expletive type headlines, as they start into some of the content. But right away, this can kind of, overwhelm someone, and we're just trying to get them to stick first, right? And then get going. We have the call to schedule up of here, but then the book now is kind of buried here with everything else that's not really standing out. So we want to give people multiple options. We want them to call. We also want them to fill out a form. People just like doing different things. Some people just want to fill out a form online and say, hey, this will be a convenient time for me, call me back. And then others want to like call in right there. So whatever multiple mechanisms you can have, that would be, the best action. I do like that they have a nice video of themselves, kind of a, what to expect. I wouldn't put that first. Again, we want to be talking more about visuals and video, even that would pertain to like, how are you going to get better from coming here, right? Not so much about who we are and what we're going to do for you. That can come a little further down on the page. They have some nice visuals in here, obviously, of working in the clinic, so that's good. It's just great that they're identifying like, who can we help with this. Have an opportunity for more things like a newsletter. We can maybe word this a little bit differently than rather just receive our newsletter. Like, hey, would you like some health tips? Would you like some free advice? That's what people reach out for. It's great that they have reviews in here, especially video ones. So that's really good. I like that they have that. And they have some other opportunities here with some ebooks. That's great. And we have some different options down in here. So we do have a couple breakdowns here under women's health. So that's good, getting into these individual pages down in here. So I like that. And then some of our back pain page here, it's good, but it has a tremendous amount of copy on here. So again, people's attention spans are short on websites. So we want to make sure that we have a balance of copy, visuals. Things are probably need to get, I would say, broken up a little bit more here with just some pictures if you're going to have that long of stuff going on. All right, so let's jump into their snapshot report and see what that looks like. All right, so we've got D on the website, C for SEO, B for reviews, that's good, F for listings, social, D and F for advertising. So definitely some areas for them to improve upon in here. Okay, so let's look here at page speed. So page speed obviously is a big factor in how Google ranks, and especially for mobile. Remember we were talking before, we said, there's the organic Google, and then there's the local Google, and then there's actually the mobile Google, right? And this has a fast load speed for the desktop, but 15 seconds for mobile. Like, who's going to sit around for this thing to wait for 15 seconds on their phone, right? So that can really impact, especially if half of the people visiting the website are going to be on their phone or tablet. So definitely an area for them to improve upon there is the mobile experience on their website and the way that the interactivity loads up there. SEO here, they're obviously ranking over here, but they're very limited in some of these other areas here. So they could work on improvement with that from an SEO perspective. Reviews, okay, they're above average here, so that's great. 68 business reviews. Again, just something to keep up with consistently, so keep up the good work on that. Listings here, so obviously they're missing a lot of opportunities here with listing. They don't even have kind of the Yelp thing going here. Even if you don't want to have people leaving a lot of reviews on Yelp, you still want to have a Yelp account and have your business information up there. But you can see here 47 of kind of the key websites, like Apple Maps and different things like that, they're not on. So they're missing a lot of opportunity here just to be in the community on these different platforms. And again, they're not on the main 3 data providers, so that would definitely be something to work on there. From a social aspect here, we're just kind of seeing how they're doing in terms of likes and average posts per month. So they're actually doing some activity here, but they could probably be working in such a way that they could have some more engagement on that and probably build their lists up a little bit more, since they only have 173 followers on, say, their Facebook account here. So just something that internally you could just be asking patients, hey, follow us on Facebook. We can give you a lot of health tips. Go ahead and do it right now here while you're in the clinic, right? Very, very fast to build up your list that way. And again, just missing out on the opportunity here to reach more people from an advertising perspective and get in front of more eyeballs. All right, so let's look here at Revolve Physiotherapy. Let's check them out. Wow. Anybody see that was a problem? Took a while to load, right? I was about to leave, and I'm sure a lot of people do. So right away, we're in a position where we're gonna want to leave. This can be an issue too. Here is a lot of people that want to try to use Messenger in here. You have to be a little careful with Messenger. It's okay to start kind of doing like interactions and stuff on there, but the minute you start to really ask for, hey, are you having problems in this? Give me your, name, address, we can get in contact with you, kind of stuff. You kind of get into a gray area with HIPAA on that, because Messenger is not HIPAA compliant. So there's other chat solutions out there which are HIPAA compliant, and that might be a better thing to look into. So as we go in here, you can see that I think this is actually, it's a little bare, right? We're talking about who we are first and our philosophy, and then we finally get into services. So my guess would be that we're missing a lot of people even starting to scroll. One is that they're not going to wait for this thing to load, and then 2 is they're really not going to take the time to scroll down a whole bunch. If you're not talking to me as a patient, how are you going to solve my problem first? We're talking more about the clinic, right? So that could definitely be some changes in approaches right on this. This almost looks like a kind of a pre-template, almost like a Wix site or something like that. That's pre-done. Yeah, and then we've got social posts and stuff at the bottom here. So let's just see on this page here. Again, I just went to the Meet the Team page. You can see how long that takes to load here. So it's nice, again, having some nice visuals on here. So that's great. Just needs to be a lot faster there. And I've got the services like physiotherapy and shockwave and vestibular rehabilitation, but there's nothing I see so far where it's easy for me to get to, hey, again, I've got a back pain problem. What do you have about back pain, right? Or, I hurt my knee. Where's the information about my knee? Like how, I have no idea what shockwave therapy is, right? And they're trying to do a lot of like the sales online here too, from a store perspective. So there could be some more content on here too. So let's go into their snapshot and see what's going on here. All right, so D on the website, C on SEO, B for reviews, that's good, F for listings, F for social, and F for advertising here. All right, so as we noticed when we arrived, we have a big problem with page speed. This is definitely going to hurt their rankings on Google. It's also going to make for a very difficult experience for a person when they're trying to look around the website and say, is this a place I would like to go? Because on the desktop, the average is 7 seconds for loading, and on mobile, 25 seconds, right? So if this just ain't loading, I'm thinking there's something wrong. It's broken. And then pressing the back button, right? So they're missing a lot of people here. So this website definitely needs a revamp. Because the platform that it's on is just too slow. So that's definitely a thing there. And then we can see how this is really impacting. I mean, they're not even on page 1 of Google here for a lot of things, right? They're on page 2 of Google. So that's not good. We want them to be at the top of page 1 of Google. And then let's get down into the review. So again, they're doing a good job with their reviews. 71 on here. It's better than the industry average. And they're getting about 4 reviews a month. That's why I said it's better to get more, less overall reviews, but more consistent per week or per month, right? And we get down into the listings here. Obviously, they're missing some key areas like Bing's not even on Bing Maps, Yelp. They're missing other key areas here. So again, improvement for that. Probably just never had listing software or anything fixed on that. And then social here, not getting much interaction on Facebook at all. So that's again an area for them to work on is, even if you don't want to do a lot within social media, just having, your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter accounts is really key. And then trying internally just to kind of build up your followers from there and start to engage with them. And again, they're not doing advertising or taking advantage of that. So a lot of opportunities for this clinic to do better from a digital marketing perspective. And that's going to really help them, again, to get a lot more new patients in the door, be stable, be able to grow, achieve the goals that they want to achieve. All right, so our last one here is Haynes Physical Therapy. So let's go check them out. All right, so here we are in Haynes. So again, they have some visuals here, but a lot of busyness going on here, right? So we've got all the addresses at the top. There's one thing is with red is put it on the most important things that you want someone to see, right? So although they have red within their logo, it is pulling me in all kinds of different directions, and it's uncomfortable to visually look at because I've got red all over the place, right? And the request appointment is actually just a little bit of red on this sort of black background up in here. And the same thing with join our team at the top. So it gets a little confusing here. This over here is very common, but it's a no-no, right? We don't want to have Facebook and YouTube and Twitter icons drawing someone's attention. You definitely want to connect these things, but it's ideally at the very bottom of the website on the footer, right? You want it out of sight because your website's job is to keep them there and build their interest so that they're going to turn into new patients. You don't want them getting clicked off to Facebook. They'll click to your page, but then they'll start looking at their feed, right? And you've lost them. So we don't want to take people off of the website. Again, have these connections deep down, lower down in the page where people barely can see that they're there. We don't want them tracking with us here. That's confusing and taking us away. Again, we're focusing on imagery that pulls us directly to the clinic, right? It's not patient-centric. We're not talking about how they're going to get out of pain. We're talking first about no referral needed and free workshops and community locations. First, we have to say, hey, we're going to help you get out of pain. We're going to help you feel better. We're going to help you, live life the way that you want to. That's really the main messaging that we want to flip to there. Something we're missing here actually is the menu coming down with us. So we're missing this menu at the top coming down with us. That could be something that could be easily fixed there. Yeah. This is good here. We've got to start now, feel better soon. So I do like that there. The request appointment button could again be, it's sort of like hidden here. So it could be more pop, right? More contrast is what we need with that. And then the conditions we treat here. All right, this is again an area where we get into this kind of, wow, really long list here. Okay, so again, from experience, you're kind of vomiting on the page, and that's not what we want. Where can you lead them down? And again, does a person know what a cervical is? Do they know what a craniofacial is? No, people don't know those terms, right? And you're gonna lose them, and they're gonna tap out. So, maybe put those under like neck pain, right, or back pain, or shoulder. And again, we want to be careful in terms of like how many conditions we list out on these things. So again, there could be an opportunity there to really condense things.
From an SEO point of view, a lot of those lists, like the categories, would make a good page.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about each one of those 4 or 5 things in one page.
Right.
Google likes that versus one big giant.
Yeah, exactly. Good point there, Jacob. All right, so let's take a look at their snapshot report. Okay. All right. So website here, B, D for SEO, C for reviews, D for listings, D for social, and F for advertising. So again, room for improvement here. Page speed wise, very fast here on desktop, so that's good. We talked about the patient experience, which this doesn't really measure the patient experience and visuals and stuff that should be on there. But in terms of like speed performance, good on desktop, a little bit on the slower end for mobile. So that needs some work there to increase the mobile speed of the website. And then here from a search capability, not bad. They're about 4th on the page here for near me. Keyword performance. So I guess here, a little bit on the lower side that could be better in terms of some of these keywords for their area in Texas. Reviews. So here's something interesting, right? So 103 reviews between Facebook and Google. So they have 52 on Facebook, 50 on Google. So that's really good. We want to have not only Google reviews, but we want to have Facebook reviews and Yelp reviews. The more kind of reviews we're able to capture through different platforms, again, the better you just do as a clinic. But here's a kicker, right? Only 0.17 reviews found per month average. So that again is not going to help them from a ranking standpoint. They could just do better just by simply asking, hey, can you leave us a review, right? So it's something internally that they could work on. They could also be using some software to help them out with that. All right, and then our listings here, again, just some areas for improvement, probably not using too much in terms of listing software here, but that could be something that could help them because they're not found on 24 of those kind of main sites. And they are found on Newstar Localese, but it does have errors, but they're not on Data Axle or Foursquare. So again, opportunities for them to get their business information out on those main data providers and filter out to the world. And social here, so 226 followers. Probably, again, they've been there a while, but they're not doing enough in terms of posts. So they could do a little bit more of that. And it seems like, again, they're not taking advantage of the advertising. So definitely some room for improvement there from patient experience, but then also. So again, one of the things that we can do for you here is really put together, this performance report here, and it'll give you a good idea too of where your website is, where your online presence is, what opportunities you have for SEO. And at the end of the day, more online discovery, you're able to build trust more, you're able to get more conversions of new patients through your website. And then we know as we get people in the door, we can keep marketing to them and turn them into raving fans. All right, so in summary here, we want our website to be SEO friendly and be really discoverable there. We want our website to also connect with people like right away. It's going to have that impact, right? It's going to attract them and it's going to keep building their interest as they walk through your website, poke around your website, different pages. And then we're calling them to action. We're converting them nonstop, trying to get them to take action of reaching out and becoming a new patient. So as I mentioned, this is your opportunity to take advantage of our online performance report or snapshot here. It's going to talk about your practice's online discoverability and your website performance, and it gets to see how you can compare that to your website to industry standards. And it's also going to give you suggestions on what to fix on your website, SEO, reviews, advertising, and social profiles. Again, you can get that by going to practicepromotions.net/go. And I do invite you to connect with us and learn more about our Ultimate PT Marketing Solution, which is a combination of the Ultimate PT Marketing Funnel Strategy, Ultimate PT Marketing System, and our awesome specialists here at Practice Promotions, web developers, graphic designers, digital marketers, SEO specialists, Google advertising specialists, this whole team that you get in your practice that you just can't do on your own, right? So we're here to help you be really successful. We're going to really help take your practice to a whole new level, help you dominate page one of Google, enhance your website conversion. Remember, I showed you before, you could be having, for 1,000 people coming, you could be having 30 new patients, or you could be having 70 new patients a month just by some simple actions there of improving your website. And we're going to also help you develop those patient reactivations, patient newsletters, blogs, email systems. And then we're going to make sure that you see the value in the measurement of your results that are happening and allow you to track those much better. So again, I request here that you go check out. This is Trey. He'll have a great conversation with you. He'll give you a PT marketing evaluation of where you're at right now, what you're doing, what's being successful, what you could be working on, and give you some guidance there. And if, again, it's a right fit, then we'll go and give you a demo of how our systems work and show you our different plans and pricing, and obviously match up what's right for you in your clinic. So check out Trey here at practicepromotions.net/go.
Thanks again for joining us today. Be sure to check out practicepromotions.net/power. There, listeners can download over 9 checklists and free resources made to coach you through simple, proven marketing actions to increase new patients. So check it out today. That's practicepromotions.net/power, and I'll see you next time.